Brilliant. So we're starting seated, nice and comfortably. Give those shoulders a roll. And today, for those of you who don't know, is, and there's lots of world days and international days, today is World Osteoporosis Day. Osteoporosis is a thinning of the bones. Osteo means bones, porosis means porous bones, so the two connect to make weak, porous bones. So the dense bones turn into something that looks a bit like Swiss cheese with lots of holes in. Now, the reason I mention it is because my theme today is going to be Love Your Bones. And osteoporosis is one of my special subjects, as I have osteoporosis myself. There are two types of osteoporosis, a bit like diabetes. There's a type 1 and a type 2. Type 1 is postmenopausal, so affects women only after the menopause. And type 2 is basically anything else. So it could be age-related or genetic. And for me, it's the genetic version. Okay, so once you've rolled your shoulders, roll your wrists as well. And then we'll start thinking about our bones. So the clicks that you've got in your wrists or any of your joints is not necessarily the bones clicking, it's the air between the bones. So nothing much to worry about unless it's painful. And then of course it might be some kind of osteoarthritis problem. So once we've released the wrists and the shoulders, let's just release the head. So sitting up nice and tall, take your head to one side. And release the opposite shoulder, so you've got space between ear and shoulder there. And then I'm going to take that spare hand out so the palm is facing backwards, put it into the lower back, take it as far over as comfortable, and let the head just maybe release it, maybe let it drop. We've got a bigger stretch now. Take a nice big breath in and out. Wonderful. Let's change sides. So take that hand away, bring the head up. Over to the other side. To start with, your head might need a little bit of releasing, crookey neck, crookey shoulder. And then take the spare hand out, palm facing backwards, pop it in the lower back, take it as far over as is comfortable, and find a good place for the head to loll to one side. Breathing in and breathing out. Wonderful. And then release that hand and release your head. Bring your chin down so you stretch the back of the neck and gently roll your head from side to side now. And then eventually back to center. Lift your head up on top of the spine. You're going to get those legs moving straight away. So start to lift one and lift the other as if you're marching on your chair. So various things that can help prevent thinning of the bones, and that is exercise, of course, strength exercises, flexibility exercises, nutrition, balance, and impact. So we're going to just stomp those feet a little bit harder, impact, and you can feel the jolt up through the legs, and this jolts nice and safely the legs and creates greater strength in the bones. Okay. And then we're going to cross crawl. So take hand to knee and down, hand to knee and down. So a little bit of flexibility. You can feel that on the hips. Depends how hard your chair is and how bony your sit bones are as to whether you can find that comfortable. But it starts to move those hips. And the most common fracture in thinning of the bones is a hip fracture. 1 in 3 women over the age of 60 will suffer a hip fracture. Okay, so we want to keep those hips nice and flexible and strong at the same time. I'm going to sit right at the front of the chair and then lean back so that I can lift one leg up and take some circles into that hip joint and see how it feels. Now, maybe that you kind of just swing the bottom leg. We don't want to just swing the bottom leg. We want to get the whole clicky hip working. And back the other way. That's it. So really giving some flexibility. And you can feel the strength coming as well, because those thigh muscles are really having to work hard now to keep that leg above ground. And so therefore strengthening the hip, all the muscles around the hip. All right, let's change sides. You can release your hands between sides if you've been taking a little bit of weight on there. And let's go on the other leg. So hip fractures, wrist fractures, very common too. Wrist fractures because of falls, and falls because of instability, lack of balance and lack of flexibility in the ankles. So yoga can help with all of that. So a few times each way, changing direction, really making that hip work for you this morning, as if you're gone swimming. We don't often take the hip in circles like that, do we? So it's a good opportunity to do it until the thigh muscles can't really cope anymore, and then we can give them a rest, give them a little tap. Okay, so now we're going to get those ankles moving. So we're going to take underneath one leg, hold it and rotate the ankle. Now it's easy again to just do this mindlessly and not really think about it. So look at your foot and take it in the biggest circles that you can manage. Really release that ankle. And then pause and squeeze the toes as if you're trying to squeeze a pencil under there, and stretch the toes a couple of times. Really opening up the ligaments of the toes. No muscles in the toes as there are no muscles in the fingers, but the ligaments. And then again with that leg, some pressure, isometric, so holding it underneath. Try and put the foot back down again, but resist with your hands. Put it on the floor, but resist. Resist, that's it, and then release the pressure. And the opposite, hands on the top. Try and push the leg down, but resist the leg up. Pushing the leg muscles up, pushing it down with your hands. Bit more, bit more, bit more, and then release. Okay, the other side. So ankle, watch it, and take biggest circles as you can. Notice if one foot is more flexible than the other. Both directions, of course. Notice how the calf muscle moves when you do this. And then holding the toes where you can see them, squeeze them and stretch them. Lovely. And then we'll isometrically stretch those legs. So with the hands underneath, try and put the foot on the floor, but resist with the hands. Pull up, push down at the same time. And then we'll do the opposite way. So hands on the top. Try and push the leg to the floor and resist it up. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And then release. Brilliant. Another little shimmy shake of those legs. I'm going to come again right to the front of the chair so that I can turn. Left hand across, right hand behind the lower back. And start to lift your spine up in a spiral and look behind you. Shoulders down away from the ears. Face is soft. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. And again. And then leaving your chest where it is. Leave your shoulders where they are. Counter rotate the head to look over the other shoulder. So shoulders one way, head the other. Counter rotation. Nice spiral up through the spine, nice squeeze, and then bring the head to center and bring the arms to center. Now wriggle up the shoulders before you do the other side if you need to. Right hand across, left hand behind your back. Slide it round to the opposite side of the waist and look behind you as much as is possible. Check you're pulling your tummy back towards your spine so you're not overarching the lower back. Nice breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and again. And leave the shoulders where they are to counter-rotate the head in the completely opposite direction. And again, notice if it was different one side to the other, just knowing where your body is from one side to the other. And then bring everything back to the front. And take the hands, palms facing forwards. Those, just check you've got room beside you and not hit something. Those arms are going to go up to shoulder height, and then we're going to just release the shoulders, and then they're going to keep going if it feels comfortable. Keep them down at shoulder height if it's not. So palms facing each other, but arms are shoulder width apart. Try and draw the elbows towards each other. You can see where my elbows are wide, and then I draw the elbows towards each other and take the thumbs up towards the ceiling. Breathe in. Palms out, breathe out. roll the shoulders. So if the arms don't want to go all the way up, then what you can do is go halfway up and then turn the palms and pause there, pushing the arms back. So let's all do that bit. Palms facing upwards, take the arms up, pull your tummy back so you're not overarching the back, take the arms back. And if the shoulders don't want to go any higher, you can strengthen the shoulders and the arms here. But if you want to go higher, then go higher and higher and higher. If you need to adjust the shoulders, do. Draw the elbows towards each other, palms facing each other, and send the thumbs up towards the ceiling just as much as the middle fingers. Hands are shoulder width apart if you can. This is called Urdhva Hastasana. So it's a yoga position used in lots of other positions. It's quite tough. So breathe in, lift up, turn the palms outwards, breathe out. Bring it down. If your fingers go numb, then that's a sign that your blood pressure is not happy, so come down earlier. Let's do another one. Breathing in, push the arms back. Pause here if that's enough. Tummy pulled back all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana. Palms facing, shoulder width apart. Lift up the thumbs, but drop the shoulders. Guide the elbows towards each other. Breathe in through the nose. Breathe out through the mouth. And on the exhale, release those hands. Okay, so just see how the shoulders feel. So that's called Urdhva Hastasana. Now we can do it a slightly different way now with the palms facing downwards on the thighs. And as we take the arms up to shoulder height, you can relax the shoulders and pull the tummy back towards the spine again. Brilliant. Now the arms are going to go all the way up if they want to. So let's go up from the front now rather than the sides. Feels different on the back, feels different on the shoulders. Stop when it's enough. Palms facing forwards. Lift up. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more breath. And arms down. And notice how your shoulders feel about that way, so slightly different. Now I'm going to take it a little bit harder, so if you don't want to clasp your hands, you can just keep them how we did them just then. So clasping the hands now, palms facing your chest, push the knuckles forwards and drop the shoulders down. We go up to the top of the head first. So I'm going to bend the elbows and bring the hands towards the chest and put the hands on top of the head. Release your shoulders, pull your tummy back towards your spine. Stay there if that's enough. Otherwise, start to gently push the knuckles towards the ceiling. Elbows drawing towards each other. Pushing up. Okay, so now the hands are closer together. It's a little bit more of a squeeze. It's a little bit tighter. We're going to try not to have the arms forwards of the face. We're going to try and take them at least beside the ears, if not further back. Depends on your shoulder mobility. But keep the tummy pulled in. Breathe in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Relax the shoulders a little bit. One more breath. Breathe in through the nose. Out through the mouth. Bring the hands forwards and down. And roll the shoulders. So once we clasp the hands, it's called Badanguliasana. Brilliant name for it. We can, of course, do it the other way around, which is harder still. So palms facing forwards. If your wrists or your shoulders don't like it, then go back to any previous version. So now the backs of the hands are on the top of the head, palms facing the ceiling, and I have to just release my shoulders to make them happy there. Pull your tummy back towards your spine and push the palms of the hands now towards the ceiling, seeing if the wrists will allow you to straighten your arms. If not, then you can go back to the previous version. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, breathe in through the nose. Bring the arms down on the exhale. Okay, and roll those shoulders. So don't do anything that is going to make your shoulders hurt, okay? If you get to a certain stage and you think that's enough, then stop there. All right, let's just have a little rotation to release from those lifts. So over to the right side. One hand is in the small of the back if you can, just to notice that you don't want to overarch. And then all the way over to the other side, so just releasing, and then drop the shoulders down there as well, with this back in the back of the hand in the small of your back, and then back to center. All right, if you've got something to put your feet on like I have, just move it out of the way and bring yourself forward so your feet are firmly on the floor. I'm going to clasp those hands again with the knuckles facing forwards and the palms towards my chest. And then if you want to watch me first, I'm going to check those feet are parallel to each other. Push the hands forwards and then push them forward so far that eventually all the weight's on my feet and I can come up to standing. And then I'm going to reverse it and sit back down again. All right, so we're going to do that a few times. So have the hands on the chest, push them forward. So Mandy, without a chair, I know you're not doing it without a chair, then just do the Utkatasana standing position. So push forwards, place the feet onto the floor and come up. And then bend the knees, bring the hands back to the chest. And you know the chair's there, it's there, you can go back to it. Okay, so do this again a couple of times. Push the hands forwards and come up, right until the legs are straight. And then bend them and sit back on the chair, bring the hands back. Twice now. So really strengthening for those thigh muscles. Remember, we need to strengthen the muscles in order to strengthen the bones. And how does that work? Well, if you strengthen the muscles or you pull isometrically on the joints, then the joints are pulling against the bones and it strengthens the bones. Okay, make that the last one. And then turn the palms the other way. This time I'm going to take the arms all the way up beside my ears. And if that suits you, do it. If not, keep them down shoulder height, okay? So push forwards, leave them there if that's enough, or take them up and straighten up and get them up to the ceiling. Lovely. And then back down again. Let's just do two more. Push forwards, lift up as you breathe in. Breathing out. One more. Excellent. Release the arms, release the shoulders. I'm going to come up to standing now, so do it without your hands on your thighs, because you know you can do that. And come up to standing, come to the side of the chair. So I've got one hand on the chair and one hand on the waist. I'm going to release those hips a little bit more. So taking the outside leg off the floor, I'm going to just release that hip again. And change direction. Nice clicks now. Shame I can't hear them. And then the other leg, if you've got room next to the chair, don't bash the chair with your knee. And back the other way. That's fantastic. Okay, turn to face your chair. Remember how we had bent knees and we pretended to, well, we did sit down on the chair. Now we're going to pretend to sit down on the chair. So keeping the hands on the chair seat, bend your knees until your bottom maybe comes down as far as the chair that you've just sat on. A bit tougher because obviously you're not letting the weight fall back and your bottom hit the chair, but you've got the support of the chair to stop you falling. So bend the knees, straighten the knees. Keep your hands on the chair so your back flattens. Bend the knees towards the chair. Take your bottom down as low as the chair if you can. And then straighten the legs. That's it. A couple more. Bend them. Straighten them. Bend them. Push the knees towards the chair. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Straighten the legs. And then if you feel you can take the hands off the chair, do, and slide yourself down into that Utkatasana chair position with the hands just hanging beside the knees. And then stand up and crouch down, squat down a couple of times. So we're still firing up those thigh muscles. You can hold your chair if you need to, or do it freestyle if you can. Lovely. Last one. And then bend your knees and put your hands back on the chair. I'm going to take the feet just a little bit further back so I can now move the spine. So cheeky cat, scaredy cat type motions. All right, shoulders away from the ears. Stick up your tailbone, soften your knees a little bit and look upwards. So you've got slightly bent knees, tailbone tipping up towards the ceiling, chest lifted, chin lifted a little bit, shoulders away from the ears. Breathe in through your nose. And as you breathe out, round your spine and look at your belly button. And then again, breathe in, look forwards and up. And breathing out, round and look at your belly. 2 more of those. So flexibility through the spine, flexibility through the hips and shoulders, weight bearing on the wrists, all good for the bones. And then when you've finished, you come with your back to neutral and you walk towards the chair to come up. Roll your shoulders. Okay. So another thing that we need for those bones, remember at the beginning, was impact. And according to the osteoporosis website, we need a minimum of 50 impacts a day to keep the bones strong. Now, impacts are not walking. Walking's great, but impacts need to be stronger than walking. So you could start off, you've got your hands on the chair, you go up onto your toes, and you could do boom, boom. I call it pom-pom. So you lift up the heels, pom-pom. Enough to make the floor shake if you've got floorboards. So pom-pom, and these are impacts. All right, with or without support of the chair, but your impacts. Now, obviously, stronger impacts would be jogging, playing tennis, dancing, put the radio on in the morning, dance around the kitchen till you've done your 50 impacts. Also, if you're going for a walk on the beach or something and you clamber over the groins, just jump off the last stone or jump off the last step as you come down the stairs. Not all of the stairs, just the last one. A little bit of impact. Okay, so my little pom-poms. And we're going to do a triangle pose, Trikonasana. So holding the chair again, and we're all facing this way, we're all facing different ways, but put one foot underneath the chair and the other foot back. All right, so if you are facing the same way as me, mirror me, and that means your right foot underneath the chair and your left foot back. Okay, but make sure that the left foot is not right behind the front one because we want some space. Just take it out to the edge of the mat slightly. And you're going to feel this stretch in the calf muscles straight away. Hopefully you can feel that in the back calf muscles. Now I'm going to straighten the front leg and turn the back foot to face the long edge of your mat. So one foot is pointing under the chair and the other foot is pointing the opposite direction. That's it. And then stand upright and put the hand on the waist. Pull up your knees. And then we're going to slide down the back of the chair until your hand is on the seat of the chair. So triangle pose, Trikonasana. Feeling on the front inner thigh now that you've turned the legs. I'm going to try and open up the chest so that I'm trying to rotate, look up towards the ceiling. And this strengthens the bones again through the hips by working all those hip muscles. I'm going to work the top arm in circles. So take the top arm from the hip down to 6 o'clock, in front of your face, and up to 12 o'clock. And then watch it as it goes round. So it goes down to your hip, breathe in as it comes in front of your face, and breathe out as it goes down. If you watch the hand, then your neck gets a really good rotation at the same time. That's the shoulder. 2 more. And then pause, back with the hand on the waist, open hips, open chest. These legs are really nice and strong. Pull the knees up so the legs are straight. That's it. Oh, there's a couple of you had the knee bent, so straighten it up and you're going to feel that on the inner hip and thigh there. Now I'm going to lift up the heel of that back foot. So I'm going to go onto the toes and turn it so I'm facing the chair again. Turn the leg. The heel of that back leg might want to come in a little bit for this one. So just bring it forwards a little bit so you can straighten both legs. Both legs straight. Now I'm going to turn away from you, so you might want to watch me first. So I'm going to put the opposite hand to the front leg, opposite hand on the chair, and that hand on my back, and I'm going to turn away rotate the opposite way. This is completely different on the back and the hips and the back leg. So turn away towards your front leg. Turn towards your front leg. Keeping the back leg straight, keeping both legs straight. This is a reverse triangle, Parivrtta Trikonasana. Take a couple of breaths there, breathing in and breathing out. Can you get that back heel on the floor? Can you rotate a little bit more? One more breath in, long breath out. And then bring both hands down to the chair, and bend the knees, walk forwards, bend them a bit more and see if you can come up without touching the knees. Turn to the front. So try and go into a reverse triangle there. Soften the knees and just bring your hands down to the bottom of the thighs there. Have a little wriggle of your bottom and your shoulders, a piggy wiggy wriggle. And then pushing the knees forwards to come back up again, roll your shoulders. Now I'm going to try those arms up before we do the other side of the triangle. The arms up now, again, standing. If you have a problem with your shoulders seated or problem with your back seated, then you might want to sit down again rather than doing it standing. So just see how you go. Palms facing forwards, arms come halfway up and push back. Push the thighs back. Stay there if that's enough. Or take the arms all the way up, palms facing. Draw the thumbs up towards the ceiling, elbows towards each other, but drop those shoulders down. Keep pushing the thighs back. Push the hands back. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more. Breathe in through the nose. And as you breathe out through the mouth, turn the palms outwards and bring them all the way down. Forwards and up. Breathing in. Up they go. Halfway. Stay there if it's enough. Push the thighs back or keep going. Draw the fingers up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Keep the belly pulled back towards the spine. One more breath in. And so I'm just waiting for you all to come back. Okay, and down. The screen froze, so I was just waiting for you to all come back there. So hopefully you were still breathing while the screen was frozen. I'm going to take Badanguliasana, palms facing you and the knuckles away. Relax the shoulders. You can bend the knees if you need to for your back's sake, but push the thighs back, lift up, and then lift them up towards the ceiling. Elbows drawing towards the ears. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more breath in. Breathe out, down we go. Badanguliasana with the hardest version now, palms facing forwards. Do go back to previous versions if you need to. Put them on the top of your head. That's it. See how that feels, and then palms upwards if it feels okay. You might not suit the wrists, so you might want to do it the other way around for your wrist's sake. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. One more breath in. Come down with the breath out. Fantastic. Taking the hands to the center. Push over to the right armpit and follow and look behind you. Keep those feet pressed into the floor, away from the ears. Bring the hands back to center. Same the other side, pushing them over to the left armpit. Turn to look behind you and keep both feet pressed down, stretching through the legs and the hips, but keeping the shoulders relaxed. And then bring everything back to the center. Have a little piggy wiggy wiggle if you need to. And while we move our chairs so that we can do all of the triangle poses on the other side. I'm going to move the chair because otherwise I end up facing away from you on the first one. So the chair up the other end, and if you're copying me, now your left foot is under the chair and your right foot back. No, because I did the opposite last time. Your left foot under the chair, right foot back. Hopefully I got lefts and rights right. Okay, so holding the back of the chair, what we're going to do is going to keep that left foot pointing underneath the chair and straighten it, but turn the right one out. That's it. And if you don't feel the stretch, then take it bigger. Of course, you can take more if you need to, okay? So slide, keeping those legs straight, and keeping your chest open, slide down the chair till your hand reaches the chair seat. And you're really going to feel it here. If it's too much, narrow the legs. If it's not enough, make it wider. All right? Open up, open, open, open. You might get some clicks in the hips. That's a good thing. That means we're releasing. Open up the hips, get that shoulder facing the ceiling. Turn and look up at the ceiling as well if you can. Push the front foot under the chair, roll the back foot back so you stretch the mat between the feet. Let's play with the top arm. Take it from the hip to 6 o'clock. In front of the face as you breathe in and up to 12 o'clock. Breathing out as it comes down. Keep the chest where it is. It's only the shoulder and the head that move. So we don't want any chest movement. Keeping that nice and open. Watch the hand. Fix your sight on the thumb so that you're not tempted to look all around the room instead of at the hand. And last one. Brilliant. Okay, then we pause and we're going to turn it into the other version of triangle. So if you want to watch me to just remind yourself, you're going to bend the front knee and turn towards the chair. Turn the back foot and bring it in a little bit so that I can straighten both legs again. Brilliant. Now the opposite hand, so the other hand's going to go on the chair. The hand that is the same as the front leg is going to slide up the leg into the lower back and then lengthen your back. So don't rotate with a hunched back. Rotate with a straight back. Try and lengthen the spine and rotate. You're going to feel the stretch on the back calf muscles. You've got nice openness in the chest. We've got those legs really straight. Breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth, shoulders away from the ears. One more. Breathe in and breathe out. And then turn to face the chair. And soften the front leg, bring your back leg forwards, bend the knees and try and come up without your hands on the chair. Wonderful. So strengthening those bones with strength exercises, flexibility exercises and balance. Let's go for balance now. So the chair's there if you need it, feet fairly close together. Take one leg off the floor, rotate the foot like we did seated. See if you can take your hands off the chair to do it. Fantastic. Can you hold your knee? If you can't, your chair's there, of course. Bring the knee in a little bit, careful. Bring the knee in a little bit closer if you can, but not if it hurts your lower back. But can you hold the leg? Just, you can still play with the foot if it gives you something to do. All right. Now I'm going to push that leg out, but you can hold the chair again to just help you with that balance. So opening up the inner hip and groin, strengthening the standing hip. Now to strengthen the standing hip, we don't want it going closer to the chair like this. So we're going to push it in and up, so length. So you can hold the chair or you can take the arm up to remind you to have height. Breathe in and breathe out. And again, breathe in and breathe out. Brilliant. Bring that knee forwards and push it down. All right, we're going to need to go to the other side of the chair to do the other side. Otherwise, we won't be able to hold the chair and the knee. Feet together for a balance so that you don't have to launch yourself into space. Take the foot off the floor, give it a good wriggle, and see if you can do it without holding the chair. Lift up through the crown of the head, make yourself taller, always taller when you're balancing. Strengthens the hips. Fantastic. Can you hold the knee or hold the knee and the chair? Keep the hip in, so not out, in. That's it. Brilliant. Lift up higher. Maybe you can take the arm up. Don't worry if you can't, it's leaving go of the chair just a little bit at a time, which will help. Maybe you want to take that knee out and maybe put the hand back on the chair once you do that, because it does destabilize you a little bit, and you can have the arm out to the side. Gazing straight forward at eye height. So remember that head torch that you've got on, and the LED beam is piercing the wall directly between your eyes in front of you. That's the best place to look. And then bring it all in and down. And walk through your feet. A couple of pom-poms, lift, pom-pom, lift, pom-pom. Don't think we've done 50 of those yet, so you can do some more of those after class. Pom-pom. Okay, so while you're doing that, I'm going to show you a wide-legged forward bend. And we're going to use the chair. Now, if I was to do it here, then I'm going to slide on the carpet. That's not so good. So I'm going to use the length of the mat, but I'm going to do it here just to show you. So my feet will be wide, and I'm going to come onto the chair so that my lower back is flat, and hopefully also the upper back. Mine tends to round with the osteoporosis, so I have to focus on dropping it down. And then we're going to do a couple of things here, putting the elbows down if you can. All right, but I'm going to turn my mat so that I'm safe and I don't slip. You go sideways on your mat so that your legs are stable. Okay, so feet wide. I put them on the back of the mat so that I know that they are level and that my pelvis is level. So only as wide as is comfortable for you. Chair's in front of you. Now the chair is at the other end of the mat. It's not too close, so that you can flatten your back and maybe take your elbows on the chair. If it's too far down, then keep your hands up. For me, it's quite easy to get down that low, so. But make sure your feet are on something sticky, so turn sideways on the mat if you need to. Don't slip on the carpet. So we're going to roll into the outside of the feet so that we find we've got good arches on the inside of the feet. And you're getting that stretch on the inner thighs here. Back is flat if you can. Okay, let's do a little rotation here now. So leave one hand or elbow on the chair, put one behind your lower back, and see if you can lift that shoulder to the ceiling. Breathe in and breathe out. Lovely. Let's change sides. Hand or elbow to the chair. Go around the other side and hand in your lower back. Lift that shoulder and look upwards, feeling the stretch in the opposite leg. Breathe in and breathe out. And come back to center. Finding that flat back position again that we did against the wall last week, with the legs parallel to each other. Okay, so to come in from that, I'm going to heel toe, which works the hips and the knees beautifully. So heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, until you're in Utkatasana. And then with or without the hands on the chair, come up to standing and roll your shoulders. Nice, have a little jiggy. Okay, I'm going to get the chair out of the way now. So I'm going to pop it over to the side. And we're going to come down onto the floor. So if you need to move your screen so that you can see, do that. So I'm going to come to seated. If you've got a yoga block, do sit on it, or a book, a phone directory if they still exist, something that just gives you maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches of height behind your tailbone. It's really useful because it helps you to sit upright. Sit right on the front of the block so you're almost falling off. And then your tailbone is just tilted and lifted. Fingers on the floor. Now, especially the guys, and we've got a few guys in this class, hamstrings go, oh no, I'm not so sure about that, okay? So put a pillow or a cushion underneath your knees, because if you can't straighten your legs, it's really painful on the back. And I can straighten the legs. I'm just going to put them down on the floor, but otherwise put something underneath your knees, all right? Pull the toes towards you, put the fingers on the floor so you can sit up straight. Dandasana, seated staff pose. It's a toughie for a lot of people. Some people find it really easy, and some people go, I really can't do that, because they're kind of slumping in because of the pull of the hamstrings. Lifting up where you can, separate the feet, and let's windscreen wiper the feet, getting those hip joints moving. So right up here, the hip joints are wriggling from side to side. That's fantastic. And then bend the knees, take the feet a little bit wider. Check you're safely on your support here. Can you put the hands onto the knees and then slide them down the shins until you're leaning forwards a little bit? Shoulders away from the ears. Okay, I'm going to go forwards and back. So lifting up and looking at your belly. And then breathe in, push the chest forwards, lift the chin, shoulders away from the ears. So knees are bent at this point. So, okay, so breathe in here. Breathe out, pull back, look at your belly. Breathe in, come forwards. Cheeky cat. Breathing out, round the spine. More, breathing in, cheeky cat. And breathing out, scared cat. Fantastic. Up to neutral. See if you can slide your hand down and hold your right foot. And can you bring that right foot in to the base of its own thigh? Now, it may be that the knee's up here somewhere. That's okay, as long as it's not hurting the ankle. All right? So just bring it in. If it's too much, if it doesn't like it, put it back out. So from there, keeping this knee bent, lift up nice and tall. Put your left arm inside your left knee to create some resistance, and turn to the right, putting your right hand behind you. Drop the shoulders down away from the ears. Breathe in and breathe out. And one more. Lovely. Coming back to neutral. Now we're going to rotate the same side, but leave the legs where they are. So I'm going to take this hand, the left hand out to the side, the right hand over to the knee. So it's a different rotation. You can start to feel this on the lower back. Start to feel this as you pull that knee and look behind you over your left shoulder now. Breathing nice and steadily. Rotating all the back muscles from the tailbone up towards mid-back and across the shoulders. Breathe in and breathe out. And then slowly come back to center. I'm going to change legs and do all the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to let that right foot come back out again and lean on the knees or the thighs. And then take the left foot and bring that one in. And see how this hip and knee feel about it. It might be off the floor, might not like it at all. Just see how it feels. Okay, breathing in, lift up. We're going to take the right arm inside, put an isometric pressure so the two are pressing against each other to help you turn to the left. Back hand is creating some height with the fingertips on the floor. Stay there for a couple of breaths. Feel this in the upper back largely. Upper back rotation. And then we're going to change sides. So you come back to the front. So it's leaving the leg where it is, remember, but this creates more of a rotation all the way up the spine. So taking now the left hand to the right knee, lift up tall and pull the knee to help you turn. You want the shoulders down. And breathe. Breathing in and breathing out. And then bring everything back to center. Release the legs. And now we're going to come onto your tummy. So take your time. If you have lower back pain, then make sure you've got a blanket underneath your tummy to lie down on, or if your hips and pelvis are a bit bony, then have a blanket there. Not something as big as a cushion or a pillow, really, just something thinner, but something gives you padding if you need it. And then come down and lie on your tummy. Just make sure you can hear, even if you can't see, have room out to the side for your arms to stretch out and room out the front for your arms to stretch out the front. So plenty of room on the front of your mat. Make it comfortable with a little stretch of the legs and a rock of the pelvis. Take a couple of breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth, which really help to release and relax the back muscles. So we're going to start with the belly and back muscles, the corset. I'm going to see if you can localize your tummy muscles and pull them in like a drawstring bag, and at the same time push your pubis down into the floor to lengthen your lower back, and then release. We'll try this a couple of times. It's very subtle. You squeeze the tummy off the floor, push your pubis down into the floor, which makes the tailbone tuck under and lengthens the lower back, and then release a couple of times. Try to do it without clenching your bottom. I know that's tricky. So it's a pelvic tilt on your tummy. And then we're going to use that action to help us lift the legs. So take the feet really close together, maybe touching. Tummy pulled in, pubis pushed down so the back is stable. Lift one leg a little bit, put it down. Lift the other leg a little bit and put it down. And keep going so long as you can keep control in the lower back. So your pelvis is really tucked under to enable your leg to lift. Not bending the leg, trying to make it longer basically. You lift it and try and touch the wall behind you with your toes. Okay, and then relax the legs and let the heels flop outwards and rock your pelvis a little. So keeping your chin, nose or forehead on the floor, take the arms down beside you, beside your hips with the palms facing upwards. Engage the abdominals, push the pelvis down, lift both arms and stretch them back towards your feet and then put them back down again. And a couple of times, stretching the arms down and releasing. And then we're going to take the arms out to the side. So have them straight out to the side, palms facing downwards. Chin, nose or forehead on the floor or just skimming the floor. Lift, we're going to lift the arms and the back of the neck. So rather than lifting the chin, I want you to lift the back of the neck. So tummy in, pubis down, lift the arms and the back of the neck as if you're trying to fly off the floor. Keep the feet down and then down again. So it's just that, okay? Tummy pulled in, pubis pushed down, lift the arms, lift the back of the neck, lifting your head off the floor and then back down again. But you have to keep control in the lower back, otherwise it feels uncomfortable. Lift and lower, lift and lower. Okay, So now we're going to lift, and we're just going to, you might want to just watch for a moment actually. Bring your elbows underneath your shoulders and bring your head into your hands. This is the reading the paper on a Sunday morning pose, very small cobra. So you've got a little back bend and you'll be able to see from there. Okay, so the next one, all I'm going to do is not as strong as we did yesterday for those who did yesterday's class. So tummy pulled in, pubis pushed down, lift, and then hover the arms. So you kind of just pulse them, and it pulses your upper back and creates strength. All right. So when you're ready, take the arms out to the side again. Chin, nose, or forehead on the floor. Tummy pulled in, pubis pushed down. Lift the back of the neck so the head comes off the floor. Lift the arms and see if you can pulse them forwards and back, forwards and back. Not too far, just a little bit until you really feel that action. And if it starts to hurt in the lower back, push that pelvis down into the floor again, hard. Feet pressed down. This really works the upper back. And then relax. Come back with the hands underneath the head so you can release. And for those for whom shoulders will allow you to take the arms forwards, we're going to take the arms forwards now, palms down, and hands at least as wide as the shoulders, if not wider. And we're going to do single arm lifts like we did single leg lifts. So if your shoulders are not willing, go back to taking arms wide. So head, nose, or forehead on the floor, tummy pulled in, pubis pushed down, lift one arm, make it longer, and down. And lift the other arm, make it longer, and down. The feet are not lifting, otherwise the action comes in the lower back. We want the upper back and the shoulders to work for us here. So stretch them forwards one at a time. And yes, you can lift the head off the floor as well, but it's from the back of the neck, not the chin. And after your next set of 2, relax your arms and bring them back underneath your head or your face for comfort. Have a little rock in the pelvis, particularly if you took any strain in the lower back there. So now I'm going to take the elbows back underneath the chest, clasp the hands and look down at the forearms. So it's a back bend, but with control. From there, we're going to come into dolphin pose. So you walk the elbows back until they're underneath your belly and look at them. Take your bottom off the floor by pressing the elbows down and then walk your knees in until you can rock forwards and back on knees and elbows. Now this is what we've just done is a really good way of getting up off the floor for people who have fallen. And when I was looking at the osteoporosis website to just check a few things before I did this class plan, it does say on there that something like 1 in 4 people over the age of 70, when they fall, are unable to get back up again because they don't know how. And so if you know anybody who is vulnerable, who if they fall, you don't think they'll be able to get up again, you need to show them how to do that, what we've just done, to go on your tummy and put those elbows underneath you and get some strength through the arms and practice. So here we're doing strength through the arms. It's the lack of strength in the arms that prevents people from getting back up again. So let's strengthen those arms a bit more. Take the hands underneath the shoulders away from the ears. And then turn the fingers towards each other very slightly. So the thumbs are pointing straight towards each other, if you like. Thumbs are pointing straight towards each other. And do some little press ups. So elbows go out, head comes down, and then come up. All right, so little press ups on your knees. And do maybe half a dozen. Keep those feet firmly on the floor so that the arms are weight bearing. And yes, we weight bear through the legs every day because we walk, but the arms don't get this kind of action, this kind of weight bearing, unless you make your Make time, make effort to do it. So keep going if you feel okay. Little press-ups. Now, if you can make those press-ups stronger and by taking the knees further back, then by all means do that. But for most people, here is enough to just strengthen the arms 12 times a day. Weight bearing through the arms. Okay, and then come to neutral with the hands facing forwards. And if your wrists need some circles, give them some circles. You know that you're strengthening the wrists as well. Okay, and then cheeky cat, look forwards and up. Scaredy cat, round the spine, look at your belly. Breathing in as you go to cheeky cat. Breathing out as you go to scaredy cat. And again. Last one of these. Before walking the hands back towards the knees and coming up to high and kneeling. Okay, it's time to come onto our backs now. So we're going to come onto our backs, knees bent, feet on the floor. It's called semi-supine. If you need any pillows or padding, have that handy and have room out to the side to take your arms. So have the arms out at shoulder height, placing the feet where it's comfortable, have a little adjustment of the shoulders or of the hips. Palms are facing upwards on those arms. Let your head fall to one side and pause. Head back to center and head to the other side and pause. And head back to center. Shuffle your feet together. Bring the right knee to the chest and give it a hug. You might need a pillow for your head here if you didn't need one before. You put the hands either over the shin or underneath the thigh if the knee doesn't like that. Pull the knee towards your chest. As you do so, you'll feel that lower back lengthen and broaden into the floor. You can lift your head as well to look at the knee if you want to. Shoulders relaxed away from the ears. And then head down if you've lifted it, foot down, and we'll change sides, bringing your hands over or under the other knee. Breathe in first, so that as you breathe out, you squeeze, pushing the diaphragm up, expelling the air, broadening the lower back, and lifting your head with it if you want to. And then head down, release the clasp, and knee down. Feet and knees hip width apart, and then hands down by your hips, palms facing downwards. Take the hands up until they're up towards the ceiling. Palms face each other now, so rotating into the shoulders. And reach them up towards the ceiling. Now we're going to see if they'll go behind your head towards the floor, just like we did when we were standing and sitting, taking the thumbs to the floor behind you. If they don't want to go, then just keep them halfway, so up towards the ceiling, and then climb up the rope there. If they've gone all the way back, so the thumbs are on the floor, you're going to feel a very slight arch in the lower back. Take a breath in there, and as you breathe out, bring the arms back to the ceiling and then back to the floor beside your hips. Let's do that one more time. Breathing in, lift them up to the ceiling. Stay there if you want to, or go all the way back, arching the back and opening up your armpits. Take a breath in there. Bring them down as you breathe out. Okay, Baddha Gulyasana, so hands are clasped, Palms facing you for the first version. Push the knuckles up into the ceiling. If that's enough, stay there and just sway the arms from side to side. In fact, we'll all sway the arms from side to start with, so that you're rocking on your upper back and shoulders. So it's a bit of a back massage. And you can stay there or come to center and draw the arms back towards the floor behind your head. So the armpits are open and there's even more of a back arch now. Breathe in there. Breathing out, bring the arms all the way down. Adinguliasana with the hands the other way. Can you turn now the palms towards your thighs? Take the palms up to the ceiling and pause there while we just rock from side to side. This is harder on the wrists. It's also going to create a much bigger back arch. So take a view as to whether it's right for you. And then come to center, drop the shoulders to the floor, and then start to take the arms back. And maybe the little fingers will touch the floor. Big back arch now. Adinguliasana. So that shows you the difference when you do it seated and when you do it standing. So here's the difference very clearly when you're lying down. Take a breath in there. And as you breathe out, bring the arms down to your belly. Give your knee a hug, one knee a hug again, just as we did before. Drawing it down towards your belly to flatten your back after those back arches. Maybe lifting your head as well towards the knee if you want to. Resting the head, resting the foot, and changing sides. So giving the other leg a little hug, flattening the back to the floor, lifting your head if you want to complete that spinal stretch. And then down. Both knees together. So one knee on in each hand. Separate the knees as wide as they'll go and rock from side to side. So you are massaging the back. And then from the center, take your knees round and round in circles. And I tend to push them away from the center to away from me, and then I widen them and come back towards the armpits. So big circles in opposite directions. And it doesn't matter if you're going around the other way, or even if you have the knees together if you prefer, but the wide knees works the hips more. Okay, and then from there, take the feet to the floor, hip width apart or a little bit wider, and gently let your knees sway from side to side, releasing the inner groins, the outer hips, and your lower back. We're working our way down now to being relaxed in Shavasana, relaxation position. So if you want to grab a blanket or an eye pillow or a cushion for your head, then do. Or a pillow for underneath the knees so that you're more comfortable. And then when you're ready, slide yourself into a semi-star shape. If you want to put your socks or jumpers back on, I'll just give you a moment to do that before I talk again. So once you're on the floor, we're going to stretch those legs by pushing into the heels, make the legs longer. And then relax the legs and let the toes flop outwards. Have the feet at least as wide as the hips. Tucking your shoulders under and the arms out to the side, maybe halfway between the hips and shoulder height. Stretch the arms out as well so they really get length, and then relax them. We've done lots of different relaxation techniques over the weeks, we've done squeeze and release, and we've done release to gravity. We've done full body scans. So just do what feels comfortable today. Make sure you release your head, neck and shoulders. And take a really big magic breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again. And allow your body to be completely supported by the floor. If there are any areas of tension, just acknowledge them and let them go. If you find your mind wanders off, then you might like to count your breaths or take a mantra. And a mantra is just a little word or phrase or saying that helps you to focus, such as, I am breathing in, I am breathing out. And very gently now, be aware of the weight of your body on the floor. Notice the rhythm of your breath again. And then take a very slightly deeper breath and start to wriggle your fingers and your toes. And really bend your arms, bend your knees. Bring the soles of the feet back in contact with the floor. Take your time, just gently roll over to one side. Take a sigh, open your eyes. And then push yourself back up to a comfortable seated position, whether on the floor or chair or sofa. Find a comfortable spot. And We'll take a couple of breaths together. So placing the hands in the center, breathing in and lift up. Not too high, just to breathe and release. Palms upwards again. Take that sun in the palms of the hands, bring it up on top of your head and shower it all over you. And then open up your curtains to start the day. Thank you very much. You can touch your forehead to wish yourself intuition and wisdom today, your throat for communication and creativity, your heart for compassion and for love. And my quote this week is one of those readily available on the internet, which seems to work very well today. If you don't make time for your wellness, you will be forced to take time for your illness. So look after yourselves, breathe in. Namaste. Thank you very much. Just give me a second to turn off the recording for you.